Fans, welcome to the pitch for tonight's match. The Switchbacks FC and your Asking Bold FC.
Colorado Springs makes its first visit to Central Texas to square off against the Austin Bold as well as the Texas Heat on this Saturday night clash in the USL Championship. As we welcome you to Bold Stadium, we take a look at where things stand in the West. As of today, the Bold tied in their inaugural season for 7th with Sacramento Republic with 23 points in the table. Right now, if the postseason were to start tomorrow, these are the top 10 teams that would be in that postseason, with the Switchbacks on the outside looking in. Some critical points, though, available to our visitors from Colorado as they make the journey back here to Lone Star State. First ever meeting between these two franchises. They'll meet again for a second time back in Colorado Springs later on this year. Lincoln Rose, Kit McConigal with you. And Kit, we talk about an opportunity for the Bold to secure 3 points at home, something they've struggled with recently to try to stay above that playoff cutoff line.
That's exactly right. The Bold, so good at home. Generally, they need to get back to the winning ways. For Colorado Springs, it's been difficult on the road. This is a chance for them. They really need the full 3 points tonight.
Well, of course, when you talk about the Switchbacks in Colorado Springs, I know one man in particular stands out, and that, of course, Jordan Schweitzer.
Yeah, the midfielder, the 25-year-old Canadian, his second year with the Switchbacks. He is Mr. Reliable, has played in 49 of a possible 50 games. He is the guy to keep an eye on, pulls the strings in the midfield, does Schweitzer.
And, of course, for the Bold, some personnel news that we'll get to a little bit later on, but a constant for them this year, just about each and every day, Sion McFarland. Deceptive when we call him a defender, because you'll see him offensive-minded as well.
That's exactly right. The 26-year-old Jamaican and former Switchback player, crucial in Austin's back line, but he pushes forward, always turning defense into offense. A great work rate. Look for him all over the pitch.
Bold and Switchbacks about to go 90-plus here in the capital city. When we come back, opening kick here in the live music capital of the world. Colorado on your
Number 8, Javi Baye. And number 33, Saeed Robinson. You're off the board, led by head coach Marcelo.
Tucker Bone gets his first start, the Air Force man. If that's what you're going to say, get a new note. He was WAC Player of the Year. He was a semifinalist for the Mac Herman Trophy. Graduated in May. Another one of your boys is down here. Just about set to go for the inaugural clash between the Switchbacks and the Bold. Let's take a look at our starting lineups for the visitors from Colorado Springs. And just one notable change, his first ever start in the 11 for Steve Tritchu belongs to Tucker Bone, the former Air Force Academy All-American, played all 4 years there in Colorado Springs for his college career, picked up his degree in May.
And the local product, he won a state championship at the high school level there with Air Academy and now gets to start as a professional for his hometown team.
For Marcelo Serrano, obviously, again, they've been unbeaten in their last 4 matches. Pretty similar look. They do not have Sarah Mooten available in the midfield due to the suspension, but they do have Edson Braffond. We'll have more on that in just a moment. But when you look at this opportunity with Lima and now Atua Hene making his second straight start up top, what opportunities does that create?
Well, it's a good pairing up front. You have Lima, your target striker, big body, plays well to his back to goal, and then the young Atua Hene, lots of speed. We'll see how the two of them work together.
So again, Edson Braffond finally gets his paperwork cleared. He is set to go. The man who has competed in World Cups, has represented the Dutch. That is a great luxury to have available for Marcelo Serrano. In fact, Danny Sarek had a chance to talk to the manager of the Bold about the availability of Edson today. Danny?
I did, Lincoln, thank you. I talked with head coach Marcelo Serrano of the Austin Bold about the identity of his team at the halfway point of the season. He said he would describe the identity as one with an attack-style offense. He likes his team to create opportunities and attack the net. And he's proud of the fact that his team has outshot their last 7 opponents. As you were mentioning earlier, the identity of the Bold will change tonight with midfielder Edson Braffond starting. Braffond was signed by the Bold in fall of 2018. However, this is his first match because he's been awaiting the completion of his work visa. Serrano was telling me earlier that he's eager to have Braffond on the field because of his experience and also in the locker room because of his leadership, that he and the rest of the club are very eager to have Braffond back on the field.
Danny, thank you very much. The 36-year-old kid joins a back line that came through with a shutout in their last match down in South Texas. That was the first clean sheet for Diego Restrepo in the Bold since the brilliant start back in March and April.
Well, that's really the strength of this Austin team, that back line, so good. The youngster McFarland, who we already mentioned, Okugu, Jermaine Taylor, one of the best in the entire league. In fact, he's on that watch list for best defender at the midseason mark. But Edson Braffond brings something different. May have the best resume of any player possibly in all of USL Championship. Mentioned he played with the Dutch national team in that 2010 World Cup loss to Spain in the final. And Austin, incredibly excited to have him on the pitch for the first time.
Everybody holding their breath right now. Austin in bold, in white, of course, for the Bold. That is Kleber, who is down. While the Switchbacks wearing the black here on the road. Let's sneak in after a quick look here.
You take a look, and Kleber just getting collared there by Saeed Robinson. Good to see the Brazilian former Dinamo Kiev man, grew up in that Sao Paulo youth system. Now back on his feet, and he appears that he'll be ready to continue.
Talk about our keys to the matchup for Steve Tritchu's Switchbacks here on the road, trying to beat the Heat here in Texas and beat the Bold as well.
Well, a side that needs to bounce back. They'd won 2 games in a row. They have lost their last 2, and they've been tough losses. They really need to get back to the winning ways and counter quickly. Mentioned this Austin team likes to attack, especially at home. The chances for Colorado Springs will come via the counterattack, but as that's the case, you can't get out. You have to get back and take care of your defensive responsibilities if you choose to counter.
Switchbacks able to hold off on the free kick from Guadarrama for the Bold. How do they continue to pick up points here at home?
Control tempo. That is what they like to do. Play the ball at their feet, and they really like to dominate the attack, keep their opponents under pressure for the full 90 minutes, and home field advantage. The heat obviously is going to be an issue. Austin needs to use that to their advantage, as well as this home crowd at Bold Stadium.
Bold have only lost once here at home, and that, of course, to another member of that Four Corners rivalry, being New Mexico United, who's had a brilliant start this year. We talk about the Texas foursome. Of course, the Four Corners involving Colorado Springs, New Mexico, as well as recently they had that rivalry clash against the Monarchs.
Well, you mentioned New Mexico United. What a start. Their first year there in Albuquerque, and one of the best in the entire league.
And a toss coming up here for the Switchbacks. Steve Tritchu, hired back in 2014 for the inaugural campaign 2015 when Colorado Springs would enter this league. Been the head man ever since, and again, what a resume he brings. A starter on that World Cup team in Italy, as well as in the Olympics when the U.S. competed in Seoul. Nice MLS resume as well in his playing days for the Rapids.
A great player. He's been fantastic as a coach. He's really solidified his spot there in the Springs. An early opportunity for the visitors via the set piece. They know Austin wants to put them under pressure. They know Austin wants to strike first.
It's Jones, short corner to Argueta. Now they'll send it in. Austin with the first head on it. It's Soto who will set up another corner kick for the Switchbacks.
All the experience for the Bold. You mentioned the players that they played at international level. They played at MLS level. The one thing Colorado Springs may have, they have young legs, and look for them to press the pace, especially early on.
Second bite at the apple. As Restrepo able to send it back out. Let's see if a counter can build here for Kleber. Running with his newest teammate, Atuahene, on loan from FC Dallas, but plucked away from Schweitzer.
Francis Atuahene, part of that duo of FC Dallas players on loan alongside Emma Chumasi, the two former first-round draft picks a year ago, coming south, looking for more playing time, and they've been sparks. Austin very glad to have their services.
Saeed Robinson was begging for that ball. It would never land at his feet for Saeed. A bit of a homecoming. He played some of his college ball here in Texas. I'm not going to pretend it's close. Over Western Texas College before he transferred to be an Antelope at Grand Canyon University.
He said he was excited to play this game. He was going to have some friends and family in attendance. His first time back in Texas since those collegiate days.
And they'll play on. Switchbacks looking to strike first, just as they did against the Monarchs. Already their third corner kick here early on, knocking on the door for that opening advantage.
You mentioned that game against the Monarchs, a very difficult loss. They found the opener in the 55th minute, ultimately conceded 2 goals in the final 9 minutes to fall at home 2-1, and that is the kind of game that will really take it out of you. They had some momentum. They lost it all in that match against the Real Monarchs. They're going to looking to get some back tonight, and off to a good start.
Jome has made all 17 starts, such a valuable piece on these corners. The 24-year-old out of Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, the Gambian. Left-footed delivery. Bicycle delivered one. Again, the Switchbacks threatening early on here, just off the mark that time with Watu Bayaye.
Watu Bayaye, looking for the spectacular man from Rwanda, and that was a beautiful strike, just unable to put it on frame. And Austin has to be careful. Visitors building momentum, building confidence. The opportunities have come via the counterattack. When Austin is giving the ball away in the center third, you see how quickly the Switchbacks are able to turn defense to offense.
Back to McFarland, the former Switchback in his own right, Sion. As Switchbacks again knocking on the door, Mike Seth pushes forward, looking for an opportunity here. Cross, nobody out there on the wing as the Bold will track this one down. Let's check back in pitch side with Danny.
Before the game, I was talking to Colorado Springs Switchbacks head coach Steve Tritcher about what it would take for them to get the second road win of the season for them. And they've already had 3 corner kicks in the first 6 minutes, which is exactly what he was looking for. He told me his team was going to need to focus on transitions on both sides of the ball, and on offense, really using a fast pace and taking advantage of the opportunities. And when they lose the ball, recovering quickly to their formation defensively. However, what we've seen from them offensively is exactly what he was wanting to see.
Danny, thank you. These two teams will clash again in early September, playing home and home this year as the league has continued to grow. And Steve Tritchu, a MLS Cup runner-up back in '97 with the Rapids.
He and his coaching staff had a great game plan coming into tonight's match. They knew what they wanted to do. His side so far executing it to a T. The only thing they're missing is the opening goal. But they're starving Austin of possession. Austin, a team that likes to control the ball, control the tempo. They've seen very little of it in the first 7.5 minutes.
Adam Kilpatrick tonight, assisted by Jeremy Weed and Diego Blas, his ARs. Well, Austin was not going to take the Switchbacks lightly, even though Colorado Springs this year, 4 wins, 2 draws, and 10 defeats. It's because more recently they saw the Tacoma Defiance come to town, and the day before Father's Day, steal a point.
That was a tough match for Austin. It was their third match in 8 days. Heavy legs the entire game. You saw it from the bowl. They just didn't have it, particularly in the second half when Tacoma were able to use their speed to come away with the point on the road.
Of course, when the visiting team takes a point, you feel like they're stealing a couple of points from you.
One thing that Coach Serrano says, we have to defend the home field. We need to win at home, and all teams say that. You want to win at home, you want to draw on the road, but when you have a home stadium like Bolt Stadium, that really has to be the case.
Saeed Robinson looking to be opportunistic there, could not pounce on the loose ball. Check back in with Danny.
Before the game started, when I was talking to Bold head coach Marcelo Serrano, I was asking him how he's keeping his team motivated because, as you were mentioning, the Colorado Springs Switchbacks have been struggling and they are 17th out of 18th in the Western Conference right now. Serrano was saying that at the end of the day, 3 points are 3 points. He needs his players to be motivated at all times, and so they're not underestimating this team or where they sit in the standings because every team that's playing is capable of getting a win.
You mentioned that. It's funny because Austin actually has played up to some of the top teams in the table, including, remember, they beat Phoenix Rising. Only one team since then has beaten Phoenix, who's now on a 7-match win streak coming into today.
Phoenix, the hottest team in the Western Conference, without a doubt. And that's been an issue for Austin. They played up to the competition, and at times they played down to the competition. And they just need to focus on themselves, playing their game, and when they do that, more often than not, they come away with the victory.
Diego Restrepo back in frame, the constant for Austin these days in their first year. You felt good about what they had in goal when they signed him. Of course, Juan David Ramirez, his backup, very capable in his own right.
Two incredible goalkeepers. Restrepo, the 2017 league goalkeeper of the year back when he was with San Antonio FC. And then the youngster you mentioned, Ramirez, on loan from Atlético Nacional in Colombia. Very impressive. Few teams have goalkeepers of that caliber, let alone two of them.
Both these teams coming off rivalry matchups. Austin with that 1-0 shutout down in the Valley against RGV. It means Austin halfway through the Copa Tejas rivalry on the year is leading the way. And this is going to come back to midfield according to our lead official, Adam Kilpatrick. The infraction on Austin. Ball back over to the Switchbacks as the man down right now, Ronnie Argueta.
Sonny Guardarrama, the local product, thought he was off to the races as the whistle came late. Barafide ruled with the foul, and I'm interested to see how quickly Barafide adjusts. He's been training with this team all season, but it's quite a different thing to go out there and play a live match. You can train as much as you want. Anybody will tell you when the whistle blows and 3 points are at stake, it's just a different beast.
Argueta was with Fresno FC last year. It's his second go-round now with Colorado Springs. He's a former captain a couple years ago with this club. Had 7 goals, 5 assists in his 110 career matches here in the USL, now USL Championship. From the wing, Colorado Springs certainly not playing like a team that's near the bottom of the table. They have kept the pressure on this back line of Austin.
And interesting, Austin, a team that likes to have possession. Their only chances are coming in the counterattack.
McFarland, the defender, as usual, pushing forward to create. Xion dancing one-on-one. Lima can't settle it. He's your leading goal scorer after that game winner against RGV. Pinballed off his chest and went home.
And that is the Rio de Janeiro's native's first touch of the match, and that is simply not going to cut it. Andre Lima first seeing the ball 11.5 minutes in.
Seth, who had that lone goal last match against the Monarchs, looking to give them another lead here. Stonewalled, point blank. Shot fired, and ultimately Restrepo has the answer. As he able to shut down Tucker Bone, making his first career start here tonight.
The local product, former Air Force Academy Falcon, and you know he is flying high, getting his first start for his hometown team, and he almost found the first goal.
Another look. 18-yard delivery. Restrepo with the answer. Restrepo this year stopping about 72% of the shots that have come his way. That was his 5th clean sheet the other night. Former league goalkeeper of the year a couple years ago with San Antonio. His old head coach is actually in the crowd right now. San Antonio is next up for Austin. Both head coach Darren Powell, his top assistant Alan Marcina. They have today off officially when you look at the schedule. They've made the short trek up here to scout in person. Kleber. Lima from 19. Andre Lima. Dialing the area code first. Connects from long distance.
The Carioca, the man who leads this bold team in goals scored with his 7th of the season, the big Brazilian. He did a great job. The initial ball, he laid it back to support. He got the return, and he made no mistake putting it into the side netting. His former Grêmio teammate, Kleber, with the assist, and those two on the same page. To the delight of Austin fans, they strike first.
The former champion in Brazil with Sao Paulo and Fluminense, trying to bring a piece of hardware here to the state capital of Texas before it's all said and done.
He didn't play in the first month for Austin. He was getting fully fit. He wasn't quite there, but he is at full match fitness now, and you see what a talent he is. A true goal scorer in every sense of the word.
Such great imposing size up front anytime he's around that ball. And regardless of who Coach Serrano puts up top of his formation, they're all creators and they're all finishers. Looking for the equalizer. No such luck this time around. So Austin, who's had far fewer chances tonight, able to make good on their most recent look from Andre Lima.
And Austin, the opener against the run of play. It's that partnership, the two Brazilians, the former Grêmio man, the Paulista, the Carioca. They are on the same page. They know where the other one is going to be. And Kleber and Andre Lima, something special for Austin.
So Colorado Springs on the road, playing from behind. You know, I've mentioned the heat a couple times. Things have started getting a little bit warmer this time of year for the summer in Colorado Springs. They have always have the benefit of the altitude, but they were happy it was warming up at home before they came back to Texas.
Well, they were on the road. They were down in the RGV 2 weeks ago, so they're used to the heat. They played in these conditions.
That one just went wide. Lima, it wasn't going to land him a 10, but he would have taken the brace, however that would have come.
Oh, he absolutely would have, and had that one been able to sneak by, a good look, and you see Lima looking for something brilliant, just could not put it on frame. And as you mentioned, things are starting to warm up there in the Springs, but this side, they weren't particularly worried about the heat. They have young legs. They played in what they thought were going to be warmer conditions 2 weeks ago down in the Rio Grande Valley. And that wasn't an issue. Coach Steve Trichu said, we're not going to make excuses. When teams have to play in the altitude, they don't make excuses.
Andre Rawls did not have to intervene on that last offering from Lima as it went wide. McFarland down the spine.
Beautiful sliding tackle. Take it right off the boots of McFarland. Schweitzer have not seen him much in this match. Switchbacks need to figure out a way to get him more involved.
Seth plays up to Robinson. Flag is up offside.
See how quickly things change. Colorado Springs the better side early on, and then Austin against the run of play found the opener. Take a look at the Gold Cup update there in the 86th minute. Haitians leading 3-2. What a summer of soccer. The Women's World Cup obviously underway. Congratulations to the defending World Cup champion USA. The big victory over the hosts France, and they will head down to Lyon to take on England in the semis.
Restrepo just waiting for his chance to intervene as he chats with the Jamaican Jermaine Taylor.
I mentioned in the Gold Cup, I spoke with Jermaine Taylor, who had 101 caps for the Reggae Boys of Jamaica. He was on that former Gold Cup, starting a best 11, I should say. I said, have you talked to any of your teammates? He goes, I've talked to a lot of them. I'm watching every Reggae Boys match. I'm sure he is.
And that Gold Cup best 11 coupled with 3 Caribbean Cup titles. 6 years in Major League Soccer with Dynamo, Timbers, and Minnesota United.
His soccer IQ is amazing, and he's gotten older. I wouldn't say he's necessarily lost his step, but he's such a great player. He's always in the right spot. He's taken these young guys, particularly his countryman Sion McFarland, under his wing, and he takes great pride in that now as the elder statesman.
Argueta looking for the opportunity over the top, nothing there. Not just a great teammate with fellow Jamaicans, but there's so many Jamaicans now in the USL Championship. He's been a good ambassador when tensions start to heat up in some matches that we've already seen this year.
He really has, and I asked him about that Jamaican flavor that permeates the entire league, and he said, look, Soccer is huge on the island sport in general, and this is an opportunity. It's close to home, a high caliber, and he's really glad to see that most teams have at least 1 or 2 Jamaicans, and they all get together pre-match, and they all make sure to come say hi to Jermaine Taylor.
We'll start the rumor that Oklahoma City is considering playing their home matches in Jamaica next year. There is a team that has benefited from a lot of talent. Some of the fans, as of course is the case here. There you see the Samba.
La Cinco Doce, the supporters group of the Bold, after the area code here in Austin, 512.
I was mentioning the fans battling the sunset, which is always off there in the distance to begin a match. It'll be gone about 8:40 local time. As Burt able to keep it alive. But this will stay with the Bold.
And Austin working very hard to find that insurance goal. They know how good the Switchbacks are. They've seen what they can do in the counterattack, giving little opportunities. And they really want to find that second goal before Colorado Springs can find the equalizer.
Andre Lima's goal, the difference right now. Lima able to head home number 2.
The one man you do not want to leave wide open in the 6-yard box is number 99 in white, and no one for the Switchbacks marking Andre Lima. That is quite simply child's play for a player of his caliber. You see how wide open Lima is. Lima, he had a good 3 seconds to dial up that header into the side netting.
Atuahene, the former Michigan Wolverine, on loan now from FC Dallas. Able to find 99. Lima with the brace.
Easy to see why he has become a fan favorite here in the capital city.
First time Austin has put up multiple goals since the tie with Timbers 2 back on June 8th here in league play. That was a draw.
That's a great point. Austin got up early in that match. T2 were able to pull one back right before halftime, and then they were the better side in the second half.
A yellow for Kleber.
Austin already without the services of the Russian Valeti Seramutin, as he picked up his 5th yellow in that game down in RGV, so he is out of tonight's match. And Kleber, he's picked up a few this season. He's going to have to be careful.
Well, Andre Lima is the man who's sitting on the fact that his next yellow will have him out a match. Of course, he's been so important here today. You mentioned Valeri Seramutin is out today because of his accumulation. The most recent one against RGV.
And Austin can ill afford to lose a player like Andre Lima, especially in the form that he is currently in. And a goal scorer, when you find that hot streak, obviously you're going to ride it as long as you can, and Austin wants to keep Lima on the pitch as long as they can.
Thought we were going to have a model UN start getting underway there about 25 yards out. Diego Restrepo defending a 2-goal advantage, talking to his wall.
This is big for the Switchbacks. Their best chances came early via set pieces when they had those 3 corners in quick succession.
Malcolm hovers over it for now. Jome potentially to put his left boot into it. Jome looking for that top left 90 instead. Never dips below the crossbar.
A nice strike from Jome. Just couldn't get that one underneath. And difficult technique. You have to either wrap it around the wall or get it up and over. That was very close, but it appeared that Restrepo had it covered the whole way.
Of course, Jome had those early corner kicks, 3 of them almost in succession. Colorado Springs had plenty of opportunities in the opening 15 minutes of this match before Austin has dialed up a pair of goals, able to maximize their looks now.
Steve Trichu has to be disappointed. He knew that Austin was a team that took great pride in attacking, especially at home. Colorado Springs had those chances early on. They just couldn't capitalize. Austin has been able to do so.
And Rawls, a stress-free pursuit of this ball. Andre Rawls makes his 9th start in frame, one of 3 goalkeepers the Switchbacks have used this year, but the only one on the roster right now who has played this season. They continue to travel Stuart Sayus, who's certainly seen some time in this league over the years. Just has not been between the pipes this year for the Switchbacks yet. Looking to cut the deficit in half. Opportunity. And this ball stays in play, or does it eclipse? No, it'll be a corner kick coming up.
Fantastic tackle at the last possible second. Sion McFarland able to get in, got a boot to it as that ball went all the way across, and it all came via the counterattack. Look at McFarland there, just able to get the toe of his boot to it.
If Shane Malcolm was 5'10 instead of 5'9, a breath earlier before that replay, that ball was just beyond his big toe. Into congestion. A lot of contact around the goal line. Restrepo, while he doesn't concede a goal, not pleased with the fact that a whistle was not blown.
He wanted interference in that situation, and you look at all the men in there. Restrepo shielded away from it. Seth, the one closest to him, and Restrepo pleading his case. Back to the previous play, the work rate of Sion McFarland is just out of this world. He runs the most meters on average of any of the Bold players per game. He is up and back, box to box the entire game. And to see him get back from an advanced position in the final third, all the way back to the other end, make that tackle.
Again, McFarland, as recently as 2 years ago, was a switchback. In fact, he had a goal against San Antonio that snapped Diego Restrepo and his teammates' 14-match unbeaten streak a couple years ago. Still looking for that opener here on the road. Fans continue to file in. It's such a great venue here as we are nestled into turn 15 at the Circuit of the Americas, North America's only F1 racetrack. Just a unique vantage point for soccer. Concessions right behind the opposing goalkeeper and a nice picnic area so that you're within earshot of your visitor in all yellow tonight.
The picnic area always popular there underneath those beautiful sycamore trees. Fans get a great vantage point from that corner. And Austin Bold have really done a fantastic job with this stadium. It's just the right size, the shaded seats on the far side, a nice breeze for most matches, and the pitch, as always, in impeccable shape.
We'll note the Haitians hang on to that 3-2 victory. All 3 of those goals coming in the second half. Perhaps gives the Switchbacks some optimism here.
Indeed, Austin has seen leads diminish. We talked about that game against Timbers 2 where they had that early 2-0 lead. Ultimately, the Portland side able to come up with the draw on the road.
Well, Kleber picked up the yellow a moment ago, this time on the receiving end of the foul.
The Austin captain right there with Schweitzer, and Kleber coming up worse for wear on the tackle. I grew up in the Sao Paulo youth system, as we mentioned, spent 5 years there, one of the giants of Eastern European football, Dynamo Kiev, before heading back home.
Got a rare look at Javi Baez there. I say rare, he's on the pitch almost every minute of every match. He just is a quiet worker, but gets so much accomplished. We just don't praise him enough.
He's one of those guys who doesn't show up in your box score, but the former Chivas Guadalajara man, always in the action, influential.
His only goal in a Bold uniform this year was in that Open Cup loss against Houston.
He's a throwback midfielder, and I mean that with the highest praise. He does it all from box to box.
Another one from distance. This will go home as the Bold can do no wrong here in the opening 28 minutes.
Absolutely incredible strike. And one of the newcomers, Francis Atuahene, opens his bold account. And what a goal for the former Wake Forest Demon Deacon.
I don't know I can pin any of the 3 goals on Andre Rawls.
I can tell you one thing for sure. This goal will be up for USL Goal of the Week without a shadow of a doubt.
As that the account opener in his 3rd ever match playing for Austin. Taken in the first round of last year's Super Draft, 4th overall by Dallas.
There you go.
Of course, a memorable debut when he debuted on his birthday last season against San Jose, came off the bench, and within the first minute off the bench, had his first Major League goal. Now has his first scoring strike this year with Austin. He did play some in this league last year for OKC on loan.
Not just a scoring strike, an absolutely beautiful one.
So 2 goals from Lima and a goal from Atuahene.
And this is what Marcelo Serrano wants to see from his side. This attacking football, overloading the opponents in the final third.
Austin's first 3-goal performance since the win at Tulsa to open up this month.
He said he wants to play attractive football. It's not just about winning, but he wants to win pretty.
We saw them win a 3-2 shootout against the Monarchs here at home. As McFarland will finally win this one. Jome will have his 4th corner kick of the opening half here coming up after sending that one off of Baez.
And all this has come in the last 15 minutes. Austin, they were on their back heels early on for the first quarter of an hour. It was Colorado Springs who looked the better side, had the chances. Something has really turned for the Bold recently.
Well, here on this near pin, they'll go away from Jome, and instead the opportunity will be controlled by Tucker Bone, again getting his first start. Went to the Air Force Academy, played some in the old PDL, now League 2. His first career start as a professional here with the Switchbacks. And Diego Restrepo is not going to wait for a conversation wrap up now. They're going to have to bring it back. Too quickly of a restart, as Kleber thought he took an elbow to the jaw. Still talking things over. Soto already with an assist tonight on that 2nd goal from Kleber, the header. And it is always casual Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever the day of the week may be, for the family man, Marcelo Serrano, who brings these players in from whichever continent they come from and really gathers them around the table and somehow makes it all work with such ease.
He does indeed, and the players just speak so highly of him. In Nova Lima, Brazil, coached with the Brazilian under-15, under-17 national team, then came stateside. And you ask these players, guys like Edson Brafite, who played in a World Cup final, what brought you here to Austin? And they all say the same thing, Marcelo Serrano, the connection he has with his players. That's really what makes it special.
As this one will slip away. And of course, Marcelo, when he's not coaching the Bold, coaching the U.S. Virgin Islands squad. Back to USL Championship play in another of the 4 corner squads. The Monarchs a half hour in, up on Tulsa 2-1. Sonny G.
Sonny G, one of 2 local products. He and Chris Tierpak, both native Austinites. The opportunity to play professionally, representing their hometown. Sonny, who played for 10 years in Mexico for teams like Santos, the Giants there in Torreon, played for Dorados of Sinaloa. He said, it's always been my dream to represent my hometown at the pro level. Finally, he's gotten that opportunity this year.
Well, again, we just saw Andre Rawls a moment ago, a young man who was in the re-entry draft last year, claimed that December by the Rapids. A couple of shutouts in 3 playoff games as he helped lead the Orange County SC squad to the West title last year. As Rawls, a rare touch under his own terms. It's the best outing for a goalkeeper who's given up 3 goals. It's just not, can't even think of one of those 3 that you could really pin on him. And otherwise, he's not needed to intervene on other opportunities.
No, you're exactly right. The brace early on from Andre Lima, just not marking him closely enough. They know he's the leading goal scorer and just giving him far too much room. But then a stunning strike from the young Atua Hene. Nothing I don't think any goalkeeper maybe in the world could do about that one.
Back to Shane Malcolm here.
I really like this pairing up top with Andre Lima and Atua Hene. You have speed and power, and it's working very well.
Lima will stay down for now. See if Austin opts to play it out, and there is a whistle for the concern for Andre Lima. The big man does not go down easily. Look to take some contact on the back of his head. Looks to be holding his left ear.
And it looked like he just took a shot there to the back of the head, and we'll get another look at it. And that's exactly what happened. But with Lima staying up front, pairing with Atua Hene, they've dropped Kleber back just a little bit, and he's playing more of that number 9. So effectively, you have 3 strikers for Austin, all very capable goal scorers.
And among those strikers who are not up front are the guys on the bench like Chris Tierpak, Promise Isaac, capable scorers in their own right, as already proven in this league.
Tierpak, the first ever hat trick for Austin Bold, did that in 30 minutes coming off the bench earlier this season. And then Promise Isaac, talk about another impressive resume, won a silver medal in the Olympics with the Nigerian national team.
Captained them back in the 08 Olympics. Had a goal against a certain red, white, and blue club.
We won't hold that against him.
Arguena. Oh, these greedy fans in Austin, they want more goals, don't they?
They do indeed. They've become accustomed to the jogo bonito, if you will, the beautiful game.
Rapinoe still hasn't scored in this one. You see Braffide, again, relieved to finally suit up rather than simply be a spectator. Conversing with Tucker Bone, getting to make, again, his debut as a starter tonight as well.
Give Edson Braffide a lot of credit. As difficult as it has been not to be able to play, he's done everything he could to stay involved. He's been a mentor to these younger players, and he's never gotten down. He's always been positive, and he said, I know the time will come, and when it does, I have to be ready.
He's been a mentor to the younger players. He's also been a chauffeur for some of the younger players, like Julian Gaines driving him to practices as Julian was working on his driver's license.
Almost a 20-year difference there between Braffide and the young Gaines.
Switchbacks still looking for that first goal here in the opening half. Andre Lima with the first 2 goals for Austin. Atua Hene with his first as well in a Bold uniform.
And even though Austin is cruising, they cannot afford to get complacent. They need to continue to press, look for more goals. They are not a team that parks the bus. And when they start to get more defensively minded, that's when, as counterintuitive as it may seem, that's when they're really vulnerable.
You know, it's an Austin team, if you start looking at the playoffs and positioning, they don't have a lot of tiebreakers that will go their way, in part because they are a low-scoring team. It's their defense that has won them so many matches this year. In fact, in Copa Tejas competition alone, Austin only has 2 goals, and yet they lead that competition midway through because none of the other 3 Texas sides have scored against the Bold this year.
The strength of this team from day one has been the back line. They've switched to 3 across the back. Austin fans a little skeptical early on, but it seems to have started to work.
Baez out to McFarland. What does Sion have in mind? A corner kick coming up, played off Joan.
Merry Christmas, kid.
And there's the target in this situation. Joam will go right over to him, and he will be as close to number 99 as he can in this set piece.
Corner kick coming up for Sonny Guadarrama. Let's check back in with Danny down on the pitch.
Lincoln, you were just talking about how strong the Bold back line has been and how productive they've been. And that was something that Colorado Springs Switchbacks head coach Steve Trichu was aware of and preparing for. Specifically, an old player of his, Sion McFarland. He says he's been excited to see the way McFarland has grown since he played for him in 2017, and that he's an athletic player they prepared for, especially because he likes to attack. He said the Switchbacks were preparing to take advantage when Bold was attacking, about winning the ball and then taking advantage when Bold was not in proper position.
Danny, thank you very much. As Guadarrama's corner kick sent right back to him, creating another opportunity for the Bold. And another corner here, one for Austin. Yeah, McFarland, any highlight you see of a goal scored, you're going to see the defender up top in that highlight, often creating for his teammates.
The chances are he will be a part of it. If he's the guy who starts it, and more often than not, that's what Austin fans have seen. Sion winning the ball in the defensive end, pushing forward himself up that right flank, and then playing the distributor.
Back to Guadarrama, again, one of the native sons of Austin, suiting up for his hometown team. Kleber will be able to track this one down just in time. Looking for McFarland. And Sion will be called for the foul over the back.
I don't know that Sion has much to say in that case, hitching a ride on the back of Mike Seth.
Mike Seth, one of the original Switchbacks, had the club's first ever game-winning goal, appropriately against the Monarchs in that rivalry opener when both teams entered the league 4 years ago. Rawls, the 27-year-old out of San Ramon, California. Joam eyes up pitch, assessing his options, dancing right now with Guadarrama. Able to thread one right through, but nobody on the receiving end on the back post.
And Austin needs to be very careful. If the Switchbacks are able to pull one back before the halftime whistle, that would completely change the complexion of this match.
Josue Soto will toss this one in. There's another man who did not get to start the season in the lineup. But the Bold are thrilled to have him. I don't think that Marcelo Serrano still believes he has everybody in their natural position just yet.
I don't think he does, and that's just part of the fact that you're trying to get guys in. You have Edson playing his first match tonight, Soto who came on a late, Lima who came on a late, getting these guys' fitness level to where it needs to be.
As this ball won by Bradford, right on cue. Soto is among the men who've locked in right where they want him on that left side. Bone battling McFarland. As Tucker Bone blew out a tire, it looked like. Able to slip the boot back on, and well, there's a pretty good goalkeeper in his own right next to the manager. And Ryan Thompson, top assistant for Marcelo Serrano, who technically is number 23 on the roster.
Another former Jamaican national team member, director of goalkeeping for this side.
He would be your emergency goalkeeper if needed. Juan David Ramirez, your backup.
Pretty good emergency option.
It was the Switchbacks knocking on the door consistently of the home squad goal in the early minutes of this one, only to come away empty-handed time and time again. All of a sudden now down by 3 goals in this first half. And nothing to come that time for Joam.
Joe trying to go one-on-one, and McFarland, there are few men in the league who can take Sean McFarland off the dribble.
Lima looking to make a run now. I don't know if that was contact or Lima when he planted just twisted.
Looks like it may have caught him on the top of the boot when he was reaching up to send that one back to Atuahene.
Guadarrama sends this one behind Lima. He has to turn.
And that's exactly what it was, just right on top of the boot. And the studs on the instep. Doesn't feel good.
Man who's already scored twice in this match. Inched ahead as the Bolts leading goal scorer with the game winner in that 1-0 final against RGB last Saturday.
Lincoln, one thing Marcelo Serrano told you and I at the beginning of the season is he had some players who hadn't played competitively in 1 and some who hadn't played competitively in 2 years, and it's taken them time to get back into the swing of things. But as they start to get there, it's an impressive starting 11 for Austin.
Oh, okay, so it's not score a point.
This is a club in its inaugural season with loftier ambitions than a lot of expansion sides. There were 3 titles available to them. They wanted all 3. We already know that the Open Cup will not be one of them, but they would still love that Copa Tejas trophy as well as, of course, the ultimate prize here in the USL Championship. First, you have to make sure you are in those playoffs, and right now, Austin tied for 7th.
They've been very open and honest since the very beginning, saying our goal is to compete for a championship. We don't want to wait till year 2 or year 3. We want to be competitive in our first year.
Well, of course, Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship in many of the finest leagues around the world. Since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. The latest Select products and Select special offers, you can visit selectsportamerica.com.
Yeah, he has like kind of a high top.
1 minute of stoppage time, no fewer than an additional 60 seconds still to be played.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 1 minute added time in the first half.
For the Switchbacks, I think they'll be quite content to hear that halftime whistle and get to the break and regroup.
2 different goal scorers, 3 total goals for Austin here in the opening half. A productive 45 plus. Ball with Braffon. Sent in. Rawls, a lot of internal monologue going on there. Finally talking himself out of playing that one.
As a goalkeeper, if you're going to come off the line, you have to get there. The worst thing you can do is get caught in no man's land, and that's almost what happened to Rawls.
First half in the books as Marcelo Serrano's bowled a 3-goal advantage. Just the 3rd time all year they've produced 3 goals. They do it in 1 half of play. Andre Lima responsible for a brace. 3-0 midway through here in Austin.
shot takes a moment. Here he goes with the approach. Oh! The ball flies straight through his hands. Metzger strikes him straight in the snow. And it's easy on the amazing replay. Sterling does not look well. 2 wonderful saves and 2 definite concussions.
This match is brought to you by Ascension Seton, the official medical provider and sports medicine partner of your Austin Bold. Courtyard by Marriott. Step up your stay at the Courtyard Austin Pflugerville, where winners feel at home. And by HEB, the official grocery store of your Austin Bold. No store does more than HEB. Not many people have done more than Andre Lima's 2 goals in the opening half. It's a 3-0 lead for the home side through 45 minutes of play. Take a look at first half highlights when we come back.
And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to Del Seton Medical Center at the University of Texas for a very exciting announcement this morning, to where we're announcing that Ascension Seton is both the title sponsor and the medical provider for the new Austin Bold here in Texas. So we're very excited for that. So when the players, athletes, or families need care, we're going to be there and have the people available for you on the field. And you can rest assured that Ascension Seton and our affiliated physicians will be ready to serve. And so with that, I'd like to welcome up to the stage the owner of our new soccer team, the Austin Bold, Bobby Epstein.
You know, I was trying to think of a lot of the similarities, and there are a lot of similarities between Ascension Seton and the work they do, and the Austin Bold, and the work we try and do. With all the giving you do, we want to be meaningful too. And for that, and to show our commitment to this community, the Bold are going to give 5% of all their ticket sales to Dell Children's Hospital.
For almost 2 decades, San Diego has been waiting for a professional soccer club it can call its own. Now led by leading soccer executive and co-founder of Sacramento Republic FC, Warren Smith, and legendary United States men's national team player Landon Donovan, its club has arrived. The USL Championship is coming to the University of San Diego's Torero Stadium, bringing all the excitement of the fastest growing league in North America to one of the top soccer markets in the United States.
All right, gentlemen. I don't think we need to kind of review what this game means, but it is a really important opportunity for us. I think it's an important opportunity for you guys in a lot of ways. Goal is to advance in the U.S. Open Cup by beating Cincinnati. It is that simple. Any questions? Let's go, gentlemen. Let's go.
It's more than just the 2 clubs. There's a bit of an angst between the cities, quite frankly. You can feel it.
There's just so much on the line. We're in the 3rd year now of seeing FC Cincinnati with, you know, a lot of big moments that have happened and history built up.
Last year we came here twice and we won both games. Dealing with the crowd, the pressure, I think is one advantage that we'll have as we've dealt with it.
4th round of the 2019 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup, the site of the renewal of one of the great budding rivalries in U.S. soccer, FC Cincinnati. Now the big dog from Major League Soccer hosting Louisville City FC, a rainy Nippert Stadium, the perfect place, Lorena, to renew the River City rivalry.
Now gets the time, Sam Warner, the beauty. Jamal Johnson, he only knows bangers.
Look at Taylor moving up.
And Taylor, what a beautiful strike! Are you kidding? Johnson from distance! Oh, yes! A great save from C.J. Cochran.
This match is brought to you by Dell Children's Ascension, the official charity partner of Austin Bold FC. By Courtyard by Marriott. Step up your stay at the Courtyard Austin Pflugerville, where winners feel at home. And by H-E-B, the official grocery store of your Austin Bold. No store does more than H-E-B. Well, of course, it's all about being among the top 10 teams in the West to move on to the postseason here in the USL Championship. Bold right now enjoying themselves a 3-0 advantage against a team on the outside looking in Colorado Springs. But talk about Phoenix rising. Since the Bold beat Phoenix earlier this year, they've only lost once since then. Meanwhile, they've won 7 in a row, and they are just putting up goals. That goal differential is not an error by our crew back in the truck. They have been prolific.
But you see how tight things are. 2 through 10, just 5 points separating those 8 teams.
Bold right now tied for 7th. Of course, every Saturday in the USL Championship, a busy Saturday. You see some of the matches still to come up. Get your caffeine ready. You'll have plenty on the West Coast to take in when it's all said and done, including how about the powerhouses colliding with T2 and Phoenix.
That's going to be a fantastic game, as is Las Vegas and Oklahoma City Energy. Great matches tonight across the championship.
Take a look at some of the storylines that have our attention at this point in the season. Of course, locally here for the Bold, it's Braffide's paperwork finally has cleared, and a great talent finally able to suit up.
The former Dutch international gets his first start. Austin fans thrilled to see him, the man who played in a World Cup final finally on the pitch for Austin.
This is the inaugural season for the Austin Bold, halfway through. So far, so good, still in the playoff hunt. And exciting, again, when it comes to supporting local soccer, the women of the Austin Elite will make their debut here at Bold Stadium, getting to play. I know they're already tweeting about it, excited to be on this pitch July 6th. That'll be a matchup that kicks off at 7:30.
That'll be a fantastic match. It is going to be free admission, free parking. Hats off to the Bold offering this great facility to the Austin Elite women to play in that match. And it's going to be an I-35 rivalry. The San Antonio Athenians will be in town.
We are midway through the first ever clash under the burnt orange skies here in Austin. The Bold up by 3 midway through.
On July 3rd.
On this end, 3 goals from the Bold.
Andre Lima got the Bold underway. The assist from his countryman Kleber, and quickly made it 1-0. And Lima not done, left unmarked, and an easy goal. The brace for the big Brazilian.
So the brace for Lima keeps him as your leading scorer for the Bold. A young man making his first start and his first goal for the home side.
And what a goal it was. What a strike from Francis Otuahene on loan from FC Dallas. Opens his Bold account with this beautiful goal from long range.
I should say his first home start comes through with the goal in front of the home fans. Take a look at the numbers from the opening 45 minutes of play. Of course, Switchbacks seemed to dominate possession early for the first 10 to 15 minutes, but Austin quickly turned that around.
Austin was able to weather that early storm, and then Austin really got in gear. They found the 3 goals, and the thing that stands out, the shots on target for Austin, that has been an issue. They've gotten a lot of shots this year, but not many on target. 6 shots for them on target, a great sign for Austin with 3 goals.
We mentioned Austin has made the most of their opportunities, including the 2 from Lima. Here's the upcoming matchups for the Switchbacks, including back at home July 4th, but after that matchup against OC, how about the next day when Billy Ray comes to town? Cyrus, the father of Miley, for those who don't know, will be playing on July 5th at Widener Stadium. Then the Tulsa Roughnecks, and then a little bit of a road swing through OKC, Reno, and then again the rematch against the Monarchs. As for Austin, we're diving right back into Copa Tejas down at Toyota Field, about an hour drive south of here in San Antonio. Bold are looking for the sweep, while SAFC is still looking for its first 3 points in that table.
Austin got the victory in their first match, the home opener here, and they're going to be looking to go 2-0 against their I-35 rivals.
And next month also will feature the rematch between the Bold and the red-hot Phoenix Rising, the top team in the West now. And, well, right on cue, that's what we call a segue. How brilliant they have been this year after a slow start despite high expectations. Now they're firing on all cylinders. Yes, the Bold among the 4 teams in the Copa Tejas Derby. They are the top team, convincingly unbeaten, 2 wins, just 1 draw against El Paso. And of course, this past month we learned one of the newest teams in the USL Championship will reside in San Diego, with a gentleman by the name of Landon Donovan helping make that happen.
I think a few people in the U.S. soccer world have heard of him. Very glad that he is going to be involved in USL in San Diego.
There might be a lot of teams that travel to San Diego and just don't go home afterwards.
I have a feeling if there's a road trip to San Diego and OC, those teams they're going to be spending the week in Southern California.
You are looking at the boots of Saeed Robinson, 28-year-old Jamaican. It's his 4th year suited up as a switchback. Now playing in his 42nd match.
Interested to see what the Switchbacks have early here in this second half. As we said, they were the better side. They dominated possession. They had those 3 corner kicks early in the first half. They could not take advantage, couldn't find a goal past Restrepo. And Austin, weathering that initial storm, found 3 to win the first half.
It's a 42nd match. That's over the last couple of years now, including a 5-goal campaign last season. Can the Switchbacks strike early and give themselves something to build on?
It's going to be important from a confidence standpoint to pull 1 back. The longer this match remains a 3-goal deficit, obviously the more difficult it'll be for Colorado Springs to come back.
Conversely, Austin is looking for its first back-to-back shutout since they shut out Phoenix Rising and El Paso back in mid-April.
Austin obviously pleased with the offensive output, but a team that hangs its hat on defense, led by Restrepo in the back line. They certainly want to keep the clean sheet.
Jordan Burt, such a great guy to have that captain's armband on for Colorado Springs. 28-year-old Indiana native, wearing that 44 on his back in memory of a fallen friend, for whom he also raises awareness for bone marrow donors. So many great stories behind these professional athletes. It's one of the great things that pro soccer comes with it. A chance to raise awareness, a chance to connect with the communities, and do a little bit more than simply put a ball in the back of a net.
Well said. And getting to know these players and just what complete people they are, their accomplishments both on and off the pitch.
Bold looking for an opening opportunity. This one's still loose. Finally, Rawls will scoop it up as we check back in for the first time here in the second half with Danny Surek.
Before the game started, we were talking about midfielder Edson Brofide for the Bold playing in his first match of the season because he was waiting to have his work visa completed. And head coach Marcelo Serrano told me that he was eager to see his leadership and experience come out to play. He told me that in the first 20 minutes, Broffield was still getting a vibe for the game. However, that's when he saw his experience start to come alive, and he's expecting a lot more from him in the second half.
Danny, thank you very much. As clever that time, trying to get in on the fun, but ultimately sent wide.
I had the opportunity to speak with Edson Brofide a few weeks ago, and obviously the first thing that comes up is you played in a World Cup final. He came off the bench in the 105th minute for an injured Gio van Bronckhorst. I said, what was that like? He said, when the coach looks at you and I saw Van Bronckhorst pull up, I knew I was going in. That is a feeling that will never, ever be duplicated. To get to play in a World Cup final, the dream of every player who ever kicks a soccer ball.
Again, our teams have switched ends here in the second half as Austin trying to now find the back of the opposite net. That sun no longer something to contend with. From distance off the left boot, ultimately wide. Rawls with no need to intervene.
Why not take the opportunity? You have this lead. You're pressing. The lane opens up. Okugo looking to get into the action.
Mobi Okugo, a Sacramento native. We saw him spend that 1 year in college at UCLA. One of the many talents that have come through the IMG Academy in Florida. How about another Bold player with a strike if Atuahene can find his second. Atuahene! That one just wouldn't bite down.
And the young man from Ghana, he is feeling it. Francis Atuahene after that opener in the first half. You can see he is just brimming with confidence. Puts it on the right boot. Just couldn't put it underneath the crossbar.
Scenic place to take in football. Beautiful skies. A great venue. Finally a soccer-specific home here in the capital city. And an excuse for players like Sonny Guadarrama to come home to play professional soccer. Baez makes it 4-0.
Javi Baez. Ladies and gentlemen, the longtime Chivas of Guadalajara man, won a CONCACAF Champions League with Cruz Azul, mentioned that he is the unsung hero of this team, always involved. And Brofide happy to shine the boots after this rocket.
Mentioned Baez, only time he had scored in a Bowl uniform was Open Cup competition against Major League Soccer's Houston Dynamo in Houston. So he officially opens his account here in the USL Championship.
We have seen some brilliant goals. The one from Atuahene and this from Baez. Did you see the class? Just waited for the pass, kept it low. Power, precision, everything.
Well, the only other time we have seen the Bold put up 4 goals here, it was at home. It was in Open Cup competition against San Antonio. So for just the second time ever, the fans learning of a free pretzel promo that goes with 4 goals. If they can find another goal, I'm told the salt will be free. Javi Baez, again, has been so active all year long, but there have been other men called upon to find punctuation, including this man, Lima. Soto. Clever. Austin finds the first goal of the second half.
Bold captain just unable to redirect that shot on frame. for me, one of the most impressive things is that it's not just one man, it's not just Andre Lima for Austin, but everyone contributing and getting into the act.
Back out to the captain, Burt. And Restrepo picks it away. Well, fans, again, a reminder, you can follow the Bold as well as the Switchbacks and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN+. It's home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. You can join over the 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. Of course, local viewers in the Austin area with the option of tuning in with the good old-fashioned rabbit ears or with their cable provider on KBVO. And everyone else tuning in on ESPN Plus tonight. Lincoln Rose, Kit McConico, Danny Surek. Great to have you with us along with our crew. What a great time of year to be a soccer fan. So many options each and every day of the week right now.
Gold Cup, Copa America, Women's World Cup, obviously USL Championship, MLS as well. An embarrassment of riches for the soccer fans. And for the Bold fans in particular, at least tonight here at Bold Stadium. Still a lot of time remaining in this one. Colorado Springs just have to find that first.
Remember, both of the goals they conceded to the Monarchs last weekend were in the final 10 minutes. Now 6 unanswered goals they've conceded. For the Monarchs, that was their first road win all year. A big one in that rivalry as we've got some mustard coming out of the pocket of Adam Kilpatrick.
And it can't be overstated how demoralizing that loss was. You're up 1-0 in the 81st minute. Then you're even, and then you end up losing the final few minutes of a match at home. Games like that, difficult to bounce back from.
As picking up the caution, Matubaye, the 22-year-old from Rwanda. Previously with Sporting KC, as well as on the USL Championship side, those Rangers of Swope Park. More recently, of course, that trade to the Rapids, and since then loaned here in May and beyond for the rest of the season to the Switchbacks. Just on the outside of the box. Austin's mindset right now is your best defense is on offense. Kleber almost able to sneak one in.
A great save from Rawls. And a nice set piece from Austin. Well designed. Everyone thought Guadarrama was going to take the shot or at least put it into the box. Kleber wide open at the top of the 18.
We can confirm Diego Restrepo is still playing in this match. Goalkeeper for Austin has not been getting much camera time as he did at least during those first 10 minutes when he was under attack early and often.
Restrepo did his job, came up with some big saves. The back line stood strong. Then the offense got into gear for Austin.
Mention a busy night, of course, over there in the Golden State. And an own goal makes it 5-0. The captain, Burt. Well, he thought that ball was just too easy.
He did, and he thought there was a man bearing down on it. I believe he was trying to clear it out over the line to concede the corner.
And the nicest thing Austin players can do is not go hug him.
Lima, who's been just a force in this match, and you see Burt, that was the man he was defending. He may well have just heard the footsteps of number 99.
It's a bit easier to swallow, I would assume, when you're already down by 4.
That was the opener, and that made it a 1-0 game in favor of Austin. That would certainly be more difficult to stomach.
Austin's lone goal in a comeback draw here in their last home game against Tacoma was arguably aided by the opposing defense, deflecting a Kleber shot home. Kleber was awarded credit for the goal.
And Austin has had matches where they've been on the wrong end of those kind of shots. It's certainly something they know about.
Jordan Schweitzer trying to pull that goal back. That one continued to climb over the crossbar.
Schweitzer, who is our key player coming into this match, has been a non-factor.
Marcelo Serrano will be the first manager to go to his bench.
A lot to cheer about for La Cinco Doce and the Bold fans.
And they are going to allow the substitution at this point. As McFarland, the former Switchback, comes off. In his place, Fabian Garcia with his 8th appearance this year for the Bold. The 24-year-old from France.
Garcia, versatile defender, can play as a holding midfielder as well.
Reminder, you can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Simply search for Austin Bold or Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Let's get reminders on the Bolds and Switchbacks' next matchups. Again, for all that, simply go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club. Burt up ahead to Malcolm. Steve Tritchus still with all 3 substitutions available to him. Just unable to turn. As that ball got all the way up to Tucker Bone, but nothing doing. Atuahene became the 2nd of 3 goal scorers tonight for the Bold. Joining Lima, and now more recently, Baez. We're not going to lump Jordan Burt into that category. Beautiful step over. But just one defender too many to overcome as Braffide able to send it back the other way to Atuahene. Oh, into space, but the flag will not stay down as Lima would have had Rawls on an island.
What a pass that was from Francis Atuahene. Looks like he had timed it perfectly, and the linesman saying that Lima just taking off a second before the ball was played to him.
Well, we're going to have one Air Force Academy man and Bone come off for Austin Doing. You're seeing Matt Hunley come on as well, 19-year-old out of Littleton. He was a homegrown contract for the Colorado Rapids when he was signed in January, becoming their 9th Development Academy player signed. And here is, again, coming on, Doing, your other young man from right there in Colorado Springs. With the success at the high school level, would go on to play 4 years for the Air Force Academy with Bone. Doing now his 3rd match overall after making his home debut last weekend. And Javi Baez will come out as well. Both teams have made a pair of substitutions. Emma Chuamasi, your other FC Dallas player on loan, now in the match for the Bold. His 3rd appearance, all as a reserve so far this month. So both teams have inserted some fresh legs. Now the Bold, the remaining thing on your checklist other than stay healthy and avoid picking up yellow cards, is trying to find that clean sheet.
Mention the yellow cards, the question, how much longer Austin leaves Andre Lima out there. If he picks up another, obviously he would miss the next match.
That next match, of course, against San Antonio at the moment. A rivalry clash in Copa Tejas. It'll be their final meeting of the regular season. It'll be their 3rd meeting overall because they did meet in the U.S. Open Cup. Well, we're on the edge of an F1 track. That looked more like NASCAR with the rubbing. As Switchbacks not making it easy for the Bold to traverse that into the pitch.
better from Colorado Springs, just settling things down, knocking it around, trying to establish some possession, something they have not had much of in the second half.
Up ahead, just off the mark. Otherwise, the right idea there from Burt. Jordan Burt, another guy who's been around since the inaugural season for the Switchbacks. Austin doing, again, just trying to be opportunistic and pounce on a cavalier pass. Still a half hour to be played, a little too early to run it to the corner, I presume. But Austin happy to possess. They are a possession-based team, but they prefer to possess up front and have done it well.
They do. They much prefer to possess the ball in their opponent's third. A team that likes to have the vast majority of possession. This is not something you generally see from Austin. The guys on the back line just knocking it around. It just shows how confident Austin is. The scoreline certainly main reason for that.
And Joan able to intervene, and let's see if anything comes of this from Mr. Kilpatrick. A little tug from behind. Well, don't forget to tune in again to ESPN3 on July 3rd. It'll be Wednesday Night Soccer. Watches two of the premier clubs out west duel for playoff positioning. Sacramento Republic FC welcomes Fresno FC in the Highway 99 Derby. You can catch all the action July 3rd, again on ESPN3.
Tuamasi adding some pace coming off the bench.
Of course, July 3rd also will be the next matchup for Austin down in San Antonio. We noted earlier with SAFC having tonight off, their coaching staff here scouting things out. Lima still looking for the second ever hat trick this inaugural campaign for an Austin Bold player. Now, Chris Tierpak would point out, yeah, but you had two halves to do it.
Tierpak, the first ever hat trick in franchise history, and took him 30 minutes to score 3 goals.
Sonny Guadarrama will go to the corner. He'll have a short option if they want to kill more time with Tuamasi. Low drive. And it'll remain 5-0 for now. Of course, the next match again for Colorado Springs will be the 4th of July. And I wasn't kidding, Billy Ray Cyrus will be in the house one day later. I know they'd love to have everybody out for fireworks with Billy Ray. Maybe a little Old Town Road as well.
That's going to be a heck of a weekend. I mentioned it earlier, but can't help but repeat how impressed I am with Francis Atuahene, who got the start, and what he adds. When it was Kleber and Lima up front, two similar players, both strong, neither particularly fast, but now that they put Atuahene up there with Lima and they've dropped Kleber behind, that seems to be the ticket for Austin.
It was 3-0 at the half. Austin quickly made it 4-0. And then the own goal makes it 5-0. And you almost just expect these things to go in now. And never has a man been more disappointed not to make a match 6-0.
Atuahene. Thought he should have. He was trying to pull the net off with that strike.
Promise Isaac's going to come on for Kleber. former member of the Nigerian national team who captained them to that 2008 Olympic runner-up finish. A year ago was just playing in the NPSL with the Georgia Revolution with current teammate and Clayton Adams. As Kleber steps off the pitch for the evening.
Isaac will plug in directly in the spot of Kleber, right behind Lima and Atuahene. Now having moved Chuamase up on that right wing, looking for more speed up top.
Soto will take it back.
Soto, one of the names we haven't called a lot tonight, but he's done a fantastic job.
23-year-old on loan from Liga MX. Did play his college ball here in the States at Division II Cal Baptist. Early touch for Isaac. Ball played in. Who can be the first man to it? Numbers game pays off for Colorado Springs.
Well defended. Two switchback defenders there, flanking Chuamase on either side.
Can they take the goose egg off the board? How about some scoring off the bench? A corner kick coming up here. Opportunity a moment ago for Austin Doing. Played the final 8 minutes last weekend for his home debut. What a great experience for him. Again, he's not just from Colorado, but from Colorado Springs. Mentioned a 4-year player for the Air Force Academy as Restrepo punches this one out. Isaac. Telling himself to slow things down.
Brafide, who's now taken over the captain's armband from Kleber. Just a player who commands so much respect. You see what he brings to this Austin team. Just settles them down. They get in tight situations. They look to him, his experience.
Well, one of the great developments in the USL is development. Fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth program, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States. And that includes the USL Academy Cup. You learn more about this growing opportunity. Continue to grow the game at uslsoccer.com/academy.
And ultimately, that's what it's about. It's about getting that next generation of players, getting them in that senior national team, and hopefully one day soon, giving the Red, White, and Blue an opportunity to compete for a World Cup. I say that, you need to worry about getting into the World Cup first and foremost.
But this is a league, regardless of division, realistically can get to 40 teams, and soon after can see League One get to 40 teams. And at that point, so many opportunities for young men to play professionally and continue to grow the game. And you'll see national teams just benefit from that growth along the way.
Without a doubt. You see that in established soccer countries, and obviously they have the benefit of time on their hand, but having 3 or 4 leagues deep, young players coming up, the size and the athletic talent that we have in this country, and just the sheer population, soccer continues to grow. You can see more teams. You've got to imagine it's just a matter of time.
Looking for number 6. Isaac, a tad high. Those legs a bit too fresh.
The Nigerian going for power, needed a bit more precision. Nice job getting in there at the final second. May have just gotten a touch to it, the defender.
Good to see Promise not affected from that head-to-head collision in our last home match here in Austin with an opposing goalkeeper. It is all tied up over there in La La Land. OC and Los Dos.
Austin not quite parking the bus, but looks like they've downshifted the offense.
Off the noggin, Watu Baye.
This is the kind of match, if Austin can come up victorious and maybe even keep the clean sheet, it can really spur you on to a run.
And the Monarchs, all of a sudden, an offensive renaissance after those 2 late goals against Colorado Springs, putting up 3 today.
And we talked about what a demoralizing loss that was for the Switchbacks. Conversely, for the Monarchs, that is a huge win to come from behind on the road and get 2 goals in the final 9 minutes. Seen some of those after effects in their match tonight.
Moments ago, Diego Restrepo was getting some oohs and ahs from fans. He knows he can use his hands, but he was showing off with the feet. Restrepo, the former national champion in college with Virginia. Of course, great career in Florida alone with both the Rowdies and the former Strikers of Fort Lauderdale. More recently, his time in Texas with San Antonio and now here in Austin. And he is pursuing, with his teammates, a 6th clean sheet on the year, including, they hope, 2 in a row. A lot can happen, though, here in the final 17.
Switchbacks need to be careful. Things starting to get chippy.
Yeah, I mentioned among your goals in the final 20, and there will be a caution, is getting out of a match that's already out of hand healthy. Any team to get a caution the rest of the way would be doing itself a disservice.
Guadarrama, the man who took the tackle, and that is, yeah, that's just, there's no reason for that. Completely uncalled for and unnecessary.
Ladies and gentlemen, yellow card presented to Switchbacks FC.
So Robinson will just get the yellow on that.
And I think the Austin players out there thinking that just the caution for Robinson, he got off lightly. Some argument to be made that that was the case.
Of course, Austin's already made all 3 substitutions. None would be available for Sonny if he were not able to continue. And impromptu water break as well for everybody else involved.
Rafael all smiles. He's been waiting for this moment for months. A chance to finally play in a competitive match. He is not disappointed.
An unnamed water boy delivering bottled water to one of the Bold players.
I asked Edson about his name. He's originally from Suriname, moved to Amsterdam at 7. I said, I didn't know Edson was a name of Suriname. He said, my father named me after the one and only Edson, obviously alluding to Pelé, the first name of the great Brazilian.
There's room for multiple greats in Brazil, right?
Just a few.
Marcelo Serrano, all of just 39 years old, at the helm of this club, brought in by his friend, general manager Roberto Pinto da Silva, and of course across the way, Steve Tritschu. Both teams still with the only managers they've ever known. Of course, for Austin, it's just their first season. Again, a reminder, you can continue to follow these 2 teams the rest of this USL Championship season on ESPN+. This year, you're home to USL, along with the MLS, UFC, and more. Join over the 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN+ and watch the championship live every week. And sign up today at ESPNplus.com. This league has become just so easy to keep track of, and for broadcasters, the benefit of finding archives with ease. Keep up with some teams you're seeing for the first time.
You mentioned all the quality matches tonight. It seems like that's the case every weekend. Great games across the USL Championship in both the Eastern and Western Conference.
They'll have a little extra meaning in the next outing for the Bold. There's turn to the rivalry with San Antonio. The Battle of Copa Tejas. San Antonio was the first team to ever come to Austin and play here at Bold Stadium. After the Bold opened their inaugural schedule with a couple of road matches while this venue was being completed. Austin has not been too kind to the visiting side from San Antonio, and now San Antonio hopes to return the favor.
San Antonio brought a large contingent of fans for that home opener here in Austin. Austin hoping to do the same when they make that short trip down Interstate 35.
And the Bold have not conceded a goal to any Texas team in league play. It was 3-0 at the half. Andre Lima already had a brace. He has since seen two of his teammates score, and one of his opponents in the black kit score as well on Austin's behalf. Soto running with space without the ball. They'll find Josue. Just beyond that left boot of his, he'll keep it in play. And a nice job defensively there by Hundley.
Credit Austin. They came out to start the second half the way they ended the first. They weren't content with that 3-0 lead. They continued to press. They've been rewarded with two more. You wonder about the hangover effects of that loss to Real Monarchs for the Switchbacks, especially the way they played the first 15 minutes, all the chances they had. And it seemed when Austin found that second from Lima, the visitors just wilted.
Switchbacks soon enough will be back home for multiple matches, trying to enjoy that advantage with the elevation. Noted it's also getting a little warmer as we welcome in July. And I'll tell you what, you walk around in Colorado Springs, you can feel you're closer to the sun.
It was above 90 degrees today in Colorado Springs, so certainly no stranger to the summer heat.
Promise. Lima still with thoughts of perhaps goal number 3 on the night.
Austin just a touch too many that time. He would like to see Chuamase go ahead and take that shot when it was originally played to him. Instead, he elected to go back to Lima.
Yeah, to Andre's credit, he was looking to get others involved first, but when that ball came back to him, it just felt like destiny. You know, Diego Restrepo is hoping it's his destiny to not allow a ball past him in these final 10 minutes. Switchbacks can still spoil that fun.
One of the better opportunities that Colorado Springs has had in the second half coming up via this free kick.
Against the El Paso Surf. Join us next Saturday, July 6th, as we host FC Austin Elite here at the Bold Stadium. Kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. and they will be taking on San Antonio.
Diego Restrepo still organizing the Bold troops as if it was a 1-0 matchup.
The Austin goalkeeper not content with the victory. He wants the win and the clean sheet.
Will it be the right boot of Malcolm or the left of Joam? The former into the wall. Malcolm on the wing. Just can't keep it tight enough in play.
And look at Andre Lima, the man who scored the first 2 goals all the way back there, part of the wall, and then battling, doing everything he could until that ball went out for the goal kick.
He's listed at 6'1", Andre Lima is, and he's the first athlete I would accuse of as being taller than the listed height. He's just a huge presence up top, physically.
He has great size, strength. He uses his body well. And she's kind of like an old school center in basketball. He posts up inside the box and takes at least 2 defenders.
Well, stick around upon the conclusion of the match. We'll have a chance to check in with Marcelo Serrano, your manager here in year number 1 for Austin, along with a man of the match.
Coach Serrano will be very pleased. Arguably the most complete match for Austin this season. Everyone has done their job.
One of the big headlines coming into today was finally the debut of Edson Brafide. And just in time, as again, Sarah Mooten was unavailable due to the accumulation of cautions this year. Edson did a nice job plugging right into the midfield.
One thing these Bold players know, as much talent as there is on this roster, if they get the opportunity, they have to make the most of it, whether that's with a start or coming off the bench.
Still plenty left in the tank out wide from one of the substitutes in Kumasi. All this just takes time off the clock.
Players battling day in and day out in practice, vying for game time. That's a good problem to have if you're Marcelo Serrano.
I'll tell you what, a lot of visiting players after leaving Austin, whether it's with 1 point or no points, or with New Mexico's exception, all 3 points, players have really enjoyed playing in this soccer-specific venue, enjoying their 90 minutes here. As, again, Switchbacks trying to put something positive on the board. But it's the Bold who's going to be going on to some impressive atmospheres pretty soon. Their next 3 road trips, San Antonio, Phoenix, and New Mexico.
Those are all going to be very difficult matches. Obviously, down in the Alamo City, a rivalry game, taking on Phoenix, one of the toughest places to play, as is New Mexico. Isotope Park, they are drawing better than 10,000 fans per match.
And then it'll be September 7th when these 2 teams go at it again at Widener Field. Assuming Billy Ray Cyrus has not burned the place down. Now, fans in Colorado Springs excited about the future of their club and their home to take in soccer all those Saturday nights throughout the spring, summer, and fall.
As well they should be. A beautiful venue, fantastic place to take in top flight soccer. And this is a hiccup. It's a bump in the road. Unable to bounce back after that tough loss against the Real Monarchs, and we'll just have to regroup and get back to the drawing board.
Well, the Bold improved to the plus side of 500 with that win over RGV. They're going to be able to improve now to 7 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses.
A
critical 3 points in what you pointed out was such a tight battle from 2 through 10. Fans still want more.
I know the Austin coaches will hope that a match like this can really send them on a winning streak. As tight as things are in the Western Conference, they need every point they can get. They're going to secure their spot in the playoffs.
Switchbacks this year, their last point on the road at Portland back on April 20th. It's something a lot of teams have struggled with. And a competitive West. And it is something Austin conversely wanted to shore up here at home after a few too many teams as of late were sneaking out with a point.
That was a point of emphasis for Marcelo Serrano and his coaching staff after those draws, particularly the one against Timbers 2, where they came back after Austin had that 2-0 lead, and they said, if we have a lead, we have to secure it and extend it. We cannot allow teams to get back into matches and take points on the road here at Bolt Stadium. Now everyone back behind the ball for Austin, with the exception of number 99. He's still looking for his third.
Burt. Restrepo. That will allow more time to melt off the clock. Diego's 15th match has only missed a pair when they gave Juan David Ramirez a chance just to shake off any rust for the youngster. Anybody who tuned in for the first 10 minutes of this match, if you were told it was going to be 5-0, I think you believe Colorado Springs might be leaving with 3 points tonight.
Without a doubt. Austin fans nervous after the first 10 minutes. Their side was able to get back in it. And there's 2 goals from Andre Lima, really the impetus for Austin's victory tonight.
Short corner for Austin with the lead, trying to again take more time as Rawls comes through. And a merciful count of 1 minute of stoppage time. I suspect an accountant could find a few more minutes in there if you needed. But no need tonight. Andre Lima will be responsible for your game winner. And at the moment, it's the first of his 2 goals tonight. That would hold up as that game winner.
Lima now 8 goals to lead all Bold goal scorers this season. Big brace tonight.
Looking, one-handed stop from Restrepo to keep the sheet clean.
Oh my. What a save from Diego Restrepo. Final seconds of the match. Reaches the big right paw up there to keep the clean sheet in the win for Austin.
And along with it, the final whistle. The Austin Bold with a convincing victory at home, 5-0. And the door slammed shut tonight by the man in goal, Diego Restrepo. Andre Lima with a brace. One of 3 different Bold scores as they produce their largest margin of victory in the club's young history.
A complete victory, a team victory for Austin. Everyone getting involved, not just Andre Lima, but all 11 on the pitch played a factor tonight. The defense did their job, the midfield, and obviously the goal scorers as well.
Again, in just a moment, we'll look to check in with the Victoria's head coach, Marcelo Serrano. A reminder up next for the Austin Bowl to return to Copa Tejas play, as they will head down to San Antonio, their shortest road trip of the year, to take on San Antonio FC at Toyota Field on July 3rd. And one of the reasons the Switchbacks optimistic with some of the young players getting in tonight. But what an evening for not just the Bold, but the fans who have come out to cheer on the home side.
Fans enjoying themselves immensely. A lot of celebration, a lot of reason to cheer. Tonight's 5-0 win.
As Marcelo joins Danny. A fresh 3 points in his back pocket. Let's check in with the Victorious head coach with his thoughts. Danny?
Thanks, Lincoln. I'm with head coach Marcelo Serrano. Head coach Marcelo Serrano, you had 3 different goal scorers in tonight's 5-0 victory. How important is that depth offensively?
Yeah, good job to the players. They followed the game plan. They worked hard. Congrats to Colorado as well. It was not a good night for them, but it's a good team. Thanks for the fans that came over again. Hopefully I can see more kids coming up, and the kids are our future, so hopefully they come and watch soccer in the backyard.
We talked in pregame and halftime about the experience and leadership you were eager to see from midfielder Edson Brofite in his first match of the season. How satisfying was it to see him on the pitch tonight?
Yeah, we love seeing Edson here tonight. He has been working since January, and it's just good to see him there. We had a plan to take him out, but he was doing so good that we kept him on the field.
Thanks, Coach.
All the paperwork finally cleared for Edson.
Sorry, thank you.
Plenty left in the tank to get through. And well, I think a fairly convincing showing by one man to be your man of the match. With the brace tonight, Andre Lima, leading goal scorer this year for the Bold, is now with Danny.
Andre, you had the first 2 goals of tonight's game with the 5-0 win. What was the biggest contributing factor to your success tonight?
Ela perguntou que você fez os 2 primeiros gols e como você acha que você contribui para o time?
Olha, acho que minha contribuição é dentro do campo, dando o meu máximo e fazendo o que eu sei fazer, que é gol. Eu dependo dos meus amigos, dos meus companheiros para que a bola chegue em mim e espero continuar contribuindo.
He said he depends all team together to get the win and to get the goals. It's not just him, but it's a whole group.
You're at the halfway point of the season. How important are these wins to continue jumping the standings as the playoffs begin to inch closer?
Ela perguntou, falta jogo só para acabar a primeira fase. Acabou. Como você se sente pro segundo turno?
Olha, eu me sinto bem, o time está preparado. Acho que o segundo turno vai iniciar agora, então a gente está concentrado para que a gente possa fazer grande segundo turno e se classificar para o playoff.
You feel great. I think the group is ready to go for the second leg.
Thanks so much, Andre. Lincoln.
Danny, thank you. We appreciate the time of head coach Marcelo Serrano and Andre Lima, who finds 2 more goals here in USL Championship play. The Bold capture the full 3 points at home in front of the passionate crowd here in Austin, Texas. 5-0 the final. Next up, Copa Tejas for the Bold on July 3rd in San Antonio. Well, Edson Brafa's family able to get to see him finally suit up in the teal and compete, and the result, a convincing victory, 5-0 against the Switchbacks of Colorado Springs. First ever meeting between the two sides, and these are the final numbers.
Shots on goal, that's what stands out. 5 goals, 7 shots on target for Austin, and that, well, it's a recipe for success indeed.
So, Kit, again, next up for Colorado Springs, they go back home against Orange County. Meanwhile, for the Bold, a chance to continue to pull away in Copa Tejas.
That's exactly what they need to do. They need to use this victory as a springboard and get some victories, string together a streak.
Well, after the win on the road last weekend, Bold fans a chance to come back to Bold Stadium and cheer on the Teal to a 5-0 victory. Big thanks to our entire crew here in Austin. For Danny Surek, Kit McConico, I'm Lincoln Rose. Fortune favors the Bold once more. Another 3 points as they continue to climb the Western table.